Hello and welcome back to Gregway Enterprises Week 22. Today we're going to be talking about how to negotiate, identifying your target market, and it's all about trust, partner. Let's jump right in with how to negotiate. The foundation of a solid negotiation, in my opinion, is being rested. Never go into a negotiation where you're not thinking clearly and you're not completely rested. You must be rested, otherwise you're going to make poor decisions. Know your bottom line. Know exactly if you're going to buy a car, the maximum amount you're going to spend. If you're going to sell a car, for example, the lowest amount that you're going to take. Know your numbers. Know your bottom line. Know in advance and think it through so that when the negotiation is over, you already have a clear understanding that no matter how it goes, that at the end of the deal, if you stick to your numbers, if you stick to your bottom line, that once you go back home or once you leave, you're going to be happy. There's nothing worse than negotiating and then after the fact feeling horrible because you weren't prepared and you did it wrong. If you know your bottom line, if you know your budget, if you know exactly what you're going to spend, or in sales, when you're selling something, if you know exactly the lowest amount that you can go when you're selling something, then there's not going to be any questions. You're going to be happy, you're going to be pleased, and it's going to become a habit. So negotiation is being rested, knowing your bottom line. And also, I like when I negotiate, I like to always say to the person I'm negotiating with, look, the reality of it is, my job is to get the best deal that I can. And your job is to get the most money you can get. Or, in some cases, to get the best deal that you can get. Be very honest up front, but let them know. And I always say that the only real good, solid negotiation is win-win. Where if you feel good about the deal at the end, and if I feel good, then we part as friends, we part as future customers, and that's how we progress. So, you don't want to have somebody that is just an associate. You want to have somebody that ends up being a friend and ends up being a customer, ends up being someone that you can work with and do other deals down the line. So be super rested, know your bottom line, make sure that they understand that you're going into it from a place and a base of honesty and that you want it to be win-win, but at the same time they understand that you're there to get the best deal that you can. Be prepared to listen to them. If you really listen to the other side, you're going to kind of help understand what motivates them, and you're going to understand greater what their needs are so that you can use that to your advantage in a negotiation. So make sure that you listen. Read their nonverbal cues. If they're anxious, if they're tired, if they're uptight, if they're happy, if they're easily agitated, read their nonverbal cues so that you can create a strategy and negotiate off that. If they're in a really big hurry, slow it down. Make your concessions very small and slow. Slow it down. Don't be in a hurry. Let them know, hey, I don't have to do this. I'm not in any big hurry. And, if the negotiating works out, that's great. If it doesn't work out, that's fine too. Be prepared. Understand your audience and understand them well. When you go into negotiation, understand exactly who you're dealing with, what mentality you're dealing with, and what it is that you want to accomplish. Or understand who's coming to you or coming at you when you're preparing to sell them something. So if you can understand this, it'll get a lot further. And be willing to walk away. I don't like to do that, but I use it as a tool. I let them know, hey, look, if it doesn't work out, that's fine. I'm not gonna beg you. I'm willing to walk away from the deal. And I have an online antique store. I like to do antiques, and as I go out and I negotiate, and as I purchase antiques, I do it as a hobby, but as I go to these estate sales and whatnot, I like to bring a wad of cash with me. I usually bring $2,000, and I'll bring it in small bills. And I'll pull it out, and when I'm negotiating, I let them see that money. Because once they see that money, they don't want to see it go back into your pocket. And then I'll slowly count the money out. It appears to be even more valuable that way. There's 20, there's 40, there's 60. Use those negotiating skills and use them well, and know that it triggers something in their mind when they see cash, and when you're counting that cash out to them, or when you're doing a deal and you're offering them cash, or you're trying to save a customer money, or you're trying to do something in the sales process and sell them a product. Use those numbers and be very, very prepared in doing that, so that you can say, for example, say you're selling a $20,000 car, or a $10,000 piece of furniture, or a $20,000 watch, whatever it may be. Really articulate it and say it in such a way, say, this is a $20,000 purchase, but I'm willing to go down $500. Or, here's $500 I'm willing to offer you. 100, 200, 300. And if they want to go back and forth on $50, say, let's not let $50 get in the way of this. But I've made my final offer. I know what my bottom line is, and if I'm willing to walk away. And if they know that, but you do it in a kind way and you show them respect, and then you're silent and you give them time. Remember, silence is golden. Give them time. Do the deal. Know when to stop speaking, and have that peaceful time, have that quiet time where they can think for a minute. And always remember that if you understand their motivation, if you understand how badly they need the deal, or how badly they need to sell something or buy something, you can use that in your favor. So let's review. Let's be rested, number one. Don't ever go into negotiation or in sales tired. If you're a salesperson, don't go to bed at 1 or 2 in the morning. Stay on schedule. We've talked about that. And be rested so you have a clear mind. Know your bottom line. If you're buying a product, if you're selling a product, know exactly your bottom line, and don't budge, because that becomes a habit. Don't budge. Make it win-win. Explain to the prospective client or prospect or the person you're negotiating with. Let them know, I want it to be win-win. Let them know you're working from a base of honesty, but at the same time that you're there to negotiate and you're there to get the best deal that you can, but that you want them to feel good about it too. Listen to them. Read their nonverbal cues. Be prepared in advance before you negotiate, so you know exactly who you're dealing with. Make your concessions very slow and very small, going very, very small increments. That's super, super important. And don't be in a hurry. Okay, take your time. Be willing to walk away. Remember that silence is golden. Show them respect and understand their motivation. All right, that's kind of an overview, the basics on how to negotiate. All right, let's get into identifying your target market. The most key way that I have found to identify the target market for what I'm selling is to go back and review my current and past customer base. So I know exactly who has bought, how much money they've spent, what their needs were, and how I was able to fulfill them. So study your current customer base because that's going to really tell you going forward the type of people that you want to go after, and try to stay in that lane. Try to really stay focused on that. And I like to say research, and do more research. Study them by age, study them by location, study them by gender, study them by income, study them by education level, study them by experience, study them by culture. Systematically dissect these things. Take the time to understand exactly who you're dealing with. When you're dealing with their age, Different ages are going to have different personalities and different life experience. They're going to have at different stages in life, they're going to have different personalities and different attitudes, shall we say. So understand who you're dealing with. And on that location, make sure that you understand that if you're going to be selling, don't go out 100 miles or 50 miles or 80 miles. Do your research and try to stay in a certain area. We talked last week about cluster selling. And gender. You know what? It makes a huge difference if you're selling to a male or a female. Huge difference. Huge difference on knowing how to read them. And in my past videos, we talked about that in the nonverbal cues. Know how to read them. Know how to connect to them. Know how the females are a little bit more emotional and how the men are a little bit more logical. Try to understand those concepts and make sure that you understand if you're dealing with somebody that has a higher income, their attitude might be different. A higher education level, they're going to be thinking it through and thinking it differently. Okay? Experience. Understand if you're dealing with somebody that doesn't have a clue, and dealing with culture. Making sure that you're very respectful and that you understand people's culture. Because if you'll do that, and you put all of these facets together, you can go, man, here comes a female, and she's 35 years old, and she's Hispanic, and this is what she's driving, and this is how many kids she has, and this is where she lives, and this is her experience. Okay? Understand that, and understand it very well. Understand if you got somebody pulling up in a big fancy car and wearing a big fancy suit, and et cetera, et cetera. Understand the different cultures and understand that each of them have different needs and show all of them equal and proper respect. I love all people, and I want you to know that, and I want you to know how important it is, but that we understand their culture and we understand the stage of life that they're in, and we'll understand that. We'll understand what their needs are, and we can kind of tone it down a little bit, or we can ramp it up depending upon how much of an attitude. I've always found that the people that don't have a lot are the most humble and the most teachable, and I love those people, and I actually give them a lot better deals than I give the others, because they're pure in heart and they're kind, and they need a break, in my opinion. A lot of them have had a hard life and they need a break. So understand your customer base. Don't take advantage of that, but you'll be able to form a better connection based upon if you understand where they're at age-wise, and their location and where they're at and their gender and their experience and culture and income and education level, things of that nature. But this is all about doing the research. Really, really, really take the time and compare the research you're doing with your current customer base, and you do fine. All right, let's talk about it's all about trust, partner. When I was very young, I went to a tire dealership, and when I went there, I spent a lot of time working with this man and his wife. And they were really, really, really good, fine people. And they'd open up a new dealership, and they needed some help and some guidance. And maybe I'd been in the business maybe 10 or 15 years, but I was much younger than what I am now. And I'll always remember that at the end of the deal, we shook hands and they paid and filled out the agreement, did all of the basics. I remember this older man, and he was a little more of a Western country person. I live in Utah, so there's a lot of country Western folks here. And he looked at me, and he had his jeans on and his cowboy boots and his shirt. And I shook his hand, and he said, remember, it's all about trust, partner. And I've never, ever, ever forgotten that. That really left an indelible mark in my mind, that I remembered that. Trust is a foundation for your success. It's going to be your whole life, whether you're selling something, whether you're dealing with your spouse, your neighbors. It's about trust. It's about credibility. But in using this for sales, they've got to be able to trust you. You've got to give them the perception of trust. If they don't feel that they can trust you, I promise you they're not going to buy from you. Would you want to buy from somebody that you can't trust? I'll give you an example. At our home here, we have a hot tub out on our deck, and the heater coil has gone out on it. And my wife says, well, we need to call and have that repaired. And I said, well, I know a local guy, but I don't trust him. He's going to come and he's going to say it's a heater coil and overcharge. He's going to take 5 minutes to do it and bill us for an hour or two. He's probably going to say maybe it wasn't the heater coil, it was something else. And it's going to go on and on and on and on and on and on until we're spending more in the repair than what the hot tub is worth. And you know what? That's because I've dealt with him in the past. And he came to do a tune-up and some minor things, and it seemed like it was always something he forgot, or something else that needed to be done, or something that he made a mistake on, or we're going to have to go back and bill you on more labor, on and on. So I lost trust in him. Would I love to use a local person and have it done instantly? Absolutely. It would be really great to have it done. So instead, I'm going to be bringing in somebody from another county that has been in the business forever, that even if I have to pay double up front, I know that I can trust this individual, and they'll go in and go through it and make sure that everything is perfect and in the way it should be. So, trust is a foundation for success. It's just vital that you do that. Also, look them in the eye. Nobody wants to deal with somebody that won't look them in the eye, that's being shady or sketchy. Look them in the eye. At all times, look them in the eye. Even if they're not looking at you in the eye, you look them in the eye and you focus and pay attention, because eventually they're going to look up. And if you're not looking at them, boom, there goes the trust. And try to keep your hands out of your pockets. Don't fiddle around in your pockets, in your coat, or in your purse. Let them see your hands. Let them see your hands. Look them in the eye. Talk slow and articulate and clear. Let people know that you're not in such a hurry by talking slow to them and talking clearly and articulating and making sure to go back and re-review when you're selling them something, so they understand that you understand exactly what it is that they want, and make a connection with them. If you can make a connection with them about their family or about their work or about their interest, maybe it could be sports, whatever it may be, you're going to have an opportunity to kind of relax a little bit and have them relax and visit and talk with them, and they're going to get to know that you're human, because they're human. I mean, so many times in sales, all these folks think about, man, and bang, 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 doing that deal, papering it up, getting that money being done. Don't do that. That's not fair to them. It's not fair to yourself. These are good, wonderful people. Doesn't matter who they are. They're human beings, and they're wonderful people. And you've heard me talk many, many times about this. Okay? You treat them with respect. You treat them with dignity. Everybody, all the time. Don't judge them. Don't categorize them. Read them to the point that you can help them and you can help understand them better. But don't take advantage of that. And about trust, provide testimonials. I have a booklet of 67 pages of testimonials, and I have phone numbers in my phone. So if I'm ever in a spot where somebody's maybe on the fence, I'm going to say, look, let's call somebody. If somebody doesn't have something to hide, they're willing to provide testimonials. Be genuine with them. Smile. Be kind. Show empathy. This builds trust. Be consistent in the things that you say and in the things that you do, both before and after the sale. Okay? Trust shows that you're dependable, right? If you're going to be trustworthy, you're going to have to be dependable. They go hand in hand. So let's be dependable. Let's build that trust. Let's let them know that if they're going to trust you on a small level, that you really go above and beyond to be dependable and help them. And watch your tone of voice. Watch your body language. Speak to them in soft, kind tones. Watch your body language. Make sure that they understand that there's no attitude. That's fine if they have an attitude. They're the customer. They're paying you to put up and deal with that attitude. But don't have an attitude. Watch your tone of voice. Communicate effectively with them. It's very important. And honor your agreement. Honor your agreement. It's extremely important that whatever you have agreed to, that you hold firm to that, but you honor your agreement. If you don't honor your agreement and someone thinks they can push you around, they're going to push you further and further and further. And don't do that. Just say, you know what? I honor my agreement, and I expect others to honor theirs. But honor your agreement goes a long ways in building trust. Let's review. Let's understand that it's all about trust, and it's the foundation for success. Let's look them in the eyes. Let's keep our hands out of our pockets. Let's talk slowly and clearly. Let's make a connection with them so they know that you're human and that you care about them. Let's provide testimonials and be genuine and smile. Let's show empathy. Let's be consistent in our dealings with them. And let's be dependable. The more dependable we are, the more trust we're going to build. Let's watch our tone of voice and our body language. Let's communicate effectively. Let's make sure that they understand that we understand what their needs are, and let's honor our agreement. I hope you folks are taking the time to watch these videos, study these concepts and strategies. I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe or would like the videos. Most importantly, though, I would like it if you would share it with your family and friends that you feel that you can help in the world of sales. The world of sales is endless. You can go anywhere and you can sell anything to anyone, anytime, and be your own person and write your own paycheck once you understand these concepts. If you have any questions, you can contact me anytime at gregwayenterprises@gmail.com or go to my website at gregwayenterprises.com. I appreciate you guys. I hope you're staying well and you're staying safe. Take the time to study. Take the time to learn. Let's remember to stay focused and be relentless and get that deal done. We'll talk to you next week. Goodbye.